In the annals of history, few stories are as captivating as the shocking death of Herod Agrippa I. His life and reign were filled with drama, power, and intrigue. Picture this, a powerful king struck down in his prime by an unseen force. It was a moment that left his subjects in shock and historians in awe. It's a tale straight from the pages of the Bible, a story that has been told and retold through generations. Herod Agrippa I was a big deal in ancient Judea. His influence extended far beyond the borders of his kingdom. He ruled from 41 to 44 CE, a brief but impactful period in history. Agrippa was the grandson of Herod the Great, a name that echoes through the corridors of history. You know this king, when baby Jesus was born, Agrippa felt threatened when he heard a king was born. So he concocted a plan to have Mary bring him baby Jesus to celebrate his birth. But Mary and Joseph didn't believe him. They knew that Agrippa was up to no good. So they escaped in the night with baby Jesus in tow, and they hid. They were right. Agrippa had devised a plan to kill baby Jesus. When Agrippa realized that Mary and Joseph escaped his wrath, he ordered his men to find them. When they could not find baby Jesus, Agrippa then ordered the death of all the baby boys in his Jerusalem to be slaughtered in hopes that baby Jesus was among them. How heart-wrenching it must have been for those parents to watch their newborn baby boy slaughtered by the order of Herod Agrippa. Yes, that's the same guy we are talking about here today. Agrippa wasn't just any old king. He was a ruler with a vision, a man who sought to restore the glory of his grandfather's reign. He was the last ruler of a united Jewish kingdom, a kingdom that flourished under his leadership. But during his reign, Agrippa was the man. He commanded respect and wielded his power with authority. He had power, influence, and a whole lot of swagger. His charisma was undeniable, and his subjects admired him. But as we'll see, all that power went to his head. His ambition and pride would ultimately lead to his downfall. And that's where our story really gets interesting. The rise and fall of Herod Agrippa I is a tale of ambition, power, and the ultimate price of hubris. All right, let's rewind a bit. Agrippa's path to the throne wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Born in 10 BCE, young Agrippa grew up in Rome. He was buddies with future emperors Caligula and Claudius. But life wasn't all togas and grapes for Agrippa. He had a bit of a gambling problem. At one point, he even had to flee Rome to escape his creditors. However, Agrippa's fortunes changed when his old pal Caligula became emperor in 37 CE. Caligula made him king of some territories in the north of Palestine. Then in 41 CE, another twist of fate propelled Agrippa to greater heights. Claudius became emperor and gave him rule over all of Judea. Talk about a cosmic promotion, from debtor to king of the Jews in just a few short years. Now that Agrippa was king, how did he rule? This question has intrigued historians and scholars for centuries. Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. His reign was marked by both admiration and controversy. On one hand, he was pretty popular with the Jewish people. His efforts to align with their values earned him significant support. He respected their customs and traditions, which was a strategic move to solidify his rule. He even participated in temple rituals, showing his dedication to their religious practices. Agrippa also undertook some major construction projects. These projects were not just for show, they were meant to improve the lives of his subjects. He built walls, theaters, and other public works, which provided jobs and boosted the economy. It was like he was trying to turn Jerusalem into the Coruscant of the ancient world, a bustling hub of activity and culture. But here's where things get a bit murky. His reign wasn't without its darker aspects. Agrippa wasn't exactly a friend to the early Christian church. His policies were often harsh and unforgiving. The book of Acts tells us he persecuted some of its members, which created a lasting impact on the Christian community. He even had James, one of Jesus' disciples, executed. This act of brutality was a stark contrast to his otherwise benevolent image. Despite this dark side, Agrippa managed to maintain a relatively stable kingdom. His ability to balance different factions was remarkable. But as we'll see, even the most skilled performer can lose their balance. The complexities of his reign make Agrippa a fascinating figure in history, one whose legacy is still debated today. Now let's zoom in on the events that led to Agrippa's downfall. It all started with a bit of cosmic tension between Judea and its neighbors, Tyre and Sidon. These were coastal cities, important trade hubs. For some reason, Agrippa was angry with these cities. The Bible doesn't give us any details about why he was upset with these cities. It could have been because Agrippa felt his power threatened, or perhaps they were supporting his enemies. Whatever the cause, Agrippa was not happy. This anger could have had serious consequences for Tyre and Sidon. These cities depended on Judea for food, so the people of Tyre and Sidon decided to take action. They sent a delegation to make peace with Agrippa. Now we come to the main event. Picture this. It's a bright, sunny day in Caesarea. The city is buzzing with excitement. People from all walks of life have gathered, filling the streets and squares. King Agrippa is going to make a speech. This isn't just any speech, it's a momentous occasion. The air is electric with anticipation. You can feel the tension and eagerness in the crowd. Agrippa knows how to put on a show. He has a commanding presence that captivates everyone. He's dressed in his royal robes, glittering with gold and precious stones. His attire is a testament to his power and wealth. As he steps onto the platform, the sunlight catches his outfit, making him appear almost otherworldly. He shines like a crowned gem of authority and grandeur. The crowd gasps in awe. They are mesmerized by his presence and the spectacle before them. The king begins to speak. His words are powerful, carefully chosen to inspire and command. His voice booms across the gathering, echoing through the streets and reaching every ear. The people hang on his every word. They are completely entranced, unable to look away. Agrippa is in his element. This is his stage, and he knows exactly how to work it. And then something extraordinary happens. The atmosphere shifts, and the energy in the crowd reaches a fever pitch. The crowd, caught up in the moment, begins to shout, "This is the voice of a god, not of a man." Their voices rise in unison, a chorus of adulation and reverence. Now, this is where something strange occurs. According to the book of Acts, Agrippa's acceptance of divine worship didn't sit well with the real cosmic power. The Bible tells us that an angel of the Lord struck Agrippa down, boom, just like that. One moment he's basking in the crowd's adoration, the next he's struck by an unseen force. It was just that sudden. Agrippa, the mighty king, was suddenly brought down. One minute he's on top of the world, the next he's plummeted down with a force, like he was crushed from an unseen fist. Then a gruesome turn of events happened. He was then eaten by worms. It was a gruesome sight to see. The Bible doesn't hesitate in describing Agrippa's demise. It says he was eaten by worms. Modern medical experts suggest Agrippa might have suffered from a condition called myiasis, or it could have been a severe case of intestinal worms. Either way, it's not a pleasant way to go. Agrippa, once resplendent in his royal robes, now writhing in agony as his body is consumed from the inside out. The Bible says this gruesome process happened because Agrippa did not give praise to God. It's a stark lesson about the dangers of hubris, played out on a very personal, very painful scale. The message behind the story. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Why is this story in the Bible? What's the cosmic message here? In the biblical narrative, Agrippa's downfall is a clear example of divine judgment. The message is clear. Don't mess with the big guy upstairs. It's a warning against pride, against thinking you're more important than you really are. But it's also a story about the early Christian church. Remember, Agrippa had been persecuting Christians. His sudden, dramatic demise is presented as a victory for the fledgling faith. The Bible is clearly saying which one we should emulate. The Bible isn't the only source we have for Agrippa's death. The Jewish historian Josephus also writes about it. Josephus agrees that Agrippa died shortly after being hailed as a god, but he gives us some extra details. He says Agrippa saw an owl just before he fell ill. In Roman culture, owls were often seen as bad omens. Josephus also mentions that Agrippa suffered for 5 days before he died. These historical details help us understand the event better. So, what can we, denizens of the 21st century, learn from this ancient tale? It's a pretty dramatic reminder about the dangers of pride. Agrippa let the crowd's flattery go to his head, and look where it got him. There's also a lesson here about power and its limits. Agrippa was a king, but that didn't protect him from illness or death. Another takeaway is the importance of humility and perspective. Agrippa lost sight of his place in the grand scheme of things. Finally, there's a lesson here about the unexpected nature of life. Agrippa went from the height of glory to a miserable end in the blink of an eye. Reflecting on Agrippa's fate, you cannot have more power than God himself. We must be humble and kind. There's only one king, and that is God. The shocking, gruesome, and utterly fascinating story of Herod Agrippa's demise. It's a tale that has everything: power, pride, divine intervention, and even flesh-eating worms. It's like a cosmic drama played out on the stage of human history. We've journeyed through Agrippa's rise to power, his reign, and his spectacular fall. If you found this story interesting, please give us a thumbs up and share it with someone you know. And if you haven't already, come and join our growing family and subscribe to our channel for more content about the Bible. May God bless you in all your endeavors. Thank you for watching.